girls and boys, it's Mr. McAndrew, the math coach. How are you? How's it going? I hope you're having a good day. And if not, then hopefully with some fun math, you can get back on track, okay? So what are we doing today? We're subtracting, we're adding, we're looking at some big numbers. Oh, so yesterday we were looking at really tall buildings. Today we're going to look at really fast planes. Okay? All right. So, and we're going to do some calculations with that. All right? But first, let's do a quick problem. What if I had a number like 450, okay, and I was subtracting 385. All right, so already looking at this, you know that I would have to regroup, right? Because I can't take 5 ones from 0 ones. I'd have to regroup one of those 10s to give me 10 ones. But what I'm trying to get you to also see is that sometimes you're not going to have a marker or a pen and paper. And sometimes doing it mentally is just as effective. Oftentimes, a way to do that is to think, start at the lower number and think about how far do you have to go to get to the higher number. So when I look at these numbers, I think, okay, so 385, I always try and get to the next multiple of 100, which would be 400. So how much further do I need to go, right? If I'm at 385, how far do I need to go to get to 400? So I can figure that out. I can think 95, 5 more gives me 15. So I know that that equals 15. So I can hold that in my head. I wouldn't actually draw it out because I wouldn't have a marker, right? But I could just think this in my head. Okay, so I've got 15 to get to 400. Now, once I'm at 400, that's pretty easy. I know that the difference between to get from 400 to 450 is going to be what? That's not hard. It's going to be 50. So if I can think, okay, so it's 15 to get to 400 and 50 more to get to 450, then what's 15 plus 50? I can do that. All right, so 50 plus 10 gives me 60 plus 5 more is 65. So my answer is 65. And I'm done. Okay? So that's just another way that you can think about adding and subtracting, and that if you're good at adding, you can use it to help you subtract. Okay, so let's move right along. Take out your math packet, please. Pause the video if you need to, and come on back. Right, so your paper should say at the top, the fastest planes in the world, exclamation point. Okay, it says watch the video and answer the questions. Now, I do not have some really cool websites to show you the fastest planes. If your family, your parents are okay with you looking up some images of fastest planes, like the X-15 or the SR-71, then that's fine. That's up to your parents. But I'm giving you the information for today, okay? So you can do the work. And then tomorrow we're going to use the internet actually to find some distances between where you live and places around the world and do some work with that. All right, but for today we have plane. So I'm going to read it, and then you can either pause the video after each question and solve it, or you can listen to the whole video, and then at the end you can go back and solve everything, okay? All right, so here we go. It says, number 1, the fastest plane ever is the X-15. It's actually called the North American X-15. It actually couldn't take off by itself. Another big plane had to bring it way up high and then drop it, and then once it dropped, it got momentum going and was able to go super fast. I've just been reading about it. It's very interesting. So, anyways, back to our problem. It says it reached a top speed of 4,520 miles per hour. Boys and girls, just to give you an idea, probably the fastest you ever go on the highway is somewhere between 70 and 80 miles per hour. So think about that. This is 4,520 miles per hour. And someone was in the plane. It's incredible. Okay, the second fastest plane ever is the SR-71 Blackbird with a top speed of 2,193 miles per hour. Also, like, boys and girls, these planes are so fast, they are many times faster than the speed of sound. Because sound is not very fast. It's not nearly as fast as light. That's how fast these things are. So they can actually go faster than the speed that sound travels. Like, if you're far away from something and it makes a sound, it takes a little bit of time to get to you. Okay, so the question is, how much faster did the X-15 fly, right, at 4,520 miles per hour, than the SR-71 Blackbird, which we know was 2,193 miles per hour? So you're going to put your answer here, and you're going to put your work here. All right, I'm going to give you a hint. You're not going to add. Because why would you? You're trying to figure out the difference between those two planes. Okay, how much faster did the X-15 fly? And you should show your work right here. Whatever strategy you use is fine as long as you show your work. All right, number 2 says, and again, you can pause your video now and solve number 1, which is probably what I would do, but it's totally up to you, or just watch the whole video and then go back. All right, number 2 says, in 1997, Andy Green drove, so this is a car, okay? It's like a rocket-propelled car. It's like a crazy fast, crazy thing. I would never do it. Maybe I would. Drove the Thrust SSC faster than any vehicle ever on land. Okay, so this is on land, boys and girls, not in the air, on land. 763 miles per hour. That is crazy. It's still the world record. Okay, still a world record. How much faster was the X-15 than the Thrust SSC? So that's a different question. So you had to fix. So you got to go back up, and the X-15 was 4,520, right? The Thrust SSC was 763. So how much faster is the X-15 than the Thrust SSC? That's the question. All right, again, show your work. Okay? Hopefully this will kind of give you an idea of like how fast some of these vehicles and planes can really go, right? So if the fastest maybe you ever go on the highway with your family would be like, let's say 80 miles an hour. Or no, let's say like 75 miles an hour. This is good. 75 miles an hour. Okay? If you multiply that by 10, you get 750, which is about how fast Andy Green went. So he went more than 10 times faster than you normally would go on the highway. Right? That's crazy. Okay. Math is crazy, which is why I'm going crazy. Okay. So let's look at the next one. It says, the fastest NASCAR speed ever recorded was set by Rusty Wallace in 2004 when he went 216 miles per hour. That's fast. Not as fast as the Thrust SSC. How much faster was the Thrust SSC than the NASCAR speed? So go back to the other page, find out how fast was the Thrust SSC, okay, and find out how much faster was that than Rusty Wallace in the NASCAR race, okay? All right, and then again, show your work. All right, last 2 problems. Number 4, oh my goodness, I see a mistake. Number 6 should say number 5. It might say it on your paper. I'll probably fix it. Okay. Number 4 says the fastest any human has ever been able to run is Usain Bolt. Can you believe his last name is Bolt? I mean, it's like the perfect last name. And he's actually from Jamaica. And last year, I went to Jamaica and I saw the town where he lived. It was pretty awesome. So he reached almost 28 miles per hour in a race. That's just running. So boys and girls, 28 miles an hour is it's almost 30 miles an hour. And that's about the speed limit, usually like driving around town. Okay, is like 30 miles per hour. So for a car, it's not that fast, but imagine running that fast. It's great. All right, that's incredible. How much faster is the X15 than Usain Bolt? Well, you could say, Mr. McAndrew, it's a lot faster, but I want to know exactly how much faster. So you got to go back and find out how fast the X15 was and find out how much faster it was than Usain Bolt. Okay? All right, this is your very, very, very last question. Okay, here we go. Number 5. It says, pretend you can fly. Psh, yeah, sounds good to me. I used to always want to do that. And you can go super fast, obviously. If you're going to fly, you must go fast, right? You can fly 6,000 miles per hour. Like, that's amazing. How much faster are you than even the X15? All right, so you got to figure that out. So go back and look at the X15, right? And how much faster are you if you could fly that fast than the X15? Now, there's going to be a lot of zeros here. So remember, you can go back to one of my videos if it helps you to review how to subtract when there's a lot of zeros. Okay? You can also use a number line if you want and just add up, count up from the lower number, right? From the X15, you can just count up like we've been doing. So use a strategy, show your work, all right? Have some fun. If you want to look some of these things up and your parents are okay with that, then make sure you ask them. And all right, have fun, and I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.